Good afternoon. My name is Rafael. I and my colleague Leonardo are very happy to be here. And today we're going to talk about mobile process apps. Our company is a BPMS vendor located in Brazil. We work in Brazil for the past 10 years. We have more than 500 customers in Brazil and South America. We have our own BPMS. We understand process apps as apps, mobile apps dedicated to a single process or to a group of processes that share something in common. Something very domain specific, not a generic process, generic app. The concept of process app has been in the market for several years, but we haven't seen a great adoption between customers. There are several reasons we believe for that, like technology integration, governance, and so on. But in Brazil, we have lots of customers on the public sector, and these customers, they provide processes and services to very different types of customers, like citizens, local businesses, the general population. So when we talk about the desktop world, it's very common to any BPMS to provide a customization, an interface customization for the BPMS. Like this example, we have an utility electric company, and we have a BPMS running behind. But when we talk about mobile devices, things are a little bit more complicated. Generally, we only have available the out-of-the-box generic BPMS app. And when we're talking about processes that involve external customers, like this one on the public sector, it's a little bit difficult to tell them to just download and install the BPMS app because of the language, the interface, the domain specific of their need. Sometimes they don't even know what a process is. Of course, our customers have the ability to build their custom apps using the BPMS API, but this is harder and more expensive, as we all know. So what we are trying to achieve, and I'm going to show you today, it's a concept of easily build and deploy many business process apps. How could we do that in an easy way? To do that, doing this, our customers are being able to deploy, for example, one business process, one app dedicated to one business process, dedicated to a single audience, and another app for a group of processes to a completely different audience. For example, this city hall, CRYO, everybody knows, they could deploy an app for building permits for local business, another for process for tourists, another for citizens to complain. There are very different apps. To do that in our BPMS, our customers have to model and automate the business process as usual, but at the end, he has the option to generate an app or to integrate this process in an already existing app. During this process, the business user has the ability to define the name of the app, the icon, resume, screenshots, tutorial, and lots of configuration options of the app. And of course, he has the ability to define which building blocks he is going to use. Much similar to what we saw this morning. So what modules or features of the BPMS he wants that specific app to have? After that, we are generating the source code of this app, and we are sending to a compilation server in the cloud. This compilation server will compile the generated code. And today, we are generating a hybrid app. It's a mix of native and HTML, but we're working to provide with the same processes, 100% native apps. The final product of this process is two single files, two container files, APK and IPA, files that you can take them and send them directly to Google Play or App Store. So our customer can have their own app with their brand, their name, and all the characteristics of their business. Each process app is a unique interface for the same BPMS. So using this approach, we don't have problems with, for example, several apps doesn't mean several BPMS. All the apps are using the same database. All the apps can communicate with each other. You can have this ability considering the apps as simple interfaces. Now, my colleague Leonardo will show you how this works.
Okay, so we're going to start with Orquestra BPMS, and this is Rio de Janeiro's instance. They have customized the BPMS to use their, to have their brand, to have their colors. So let's start. Here's a list of processes, and Rio is developing a few processes for their citizens to use, and also the business owners in the city of Rio de Janeiro, which is, by the way, one of the major cities in Brazil. So we have processes for building permit, for business license requests, for complaints, special event permits, street and sidewalk repair, and taxi cab permit. We'll talk about the business license request process. Okay, so here's our web modeler. This shows part of the business license request process. And with this process, business owners in Rio can request their license to operate their business in the city. We have the electronic form for inputting information in the process. And we can also take a look at how this process looks like when we are executing on the browser, on desktop or notebook. So we have here the electronic form, the information he'll put about his company to request a business license. He can add messages, attachments, and here we have the action buttons. So this is the way a business owner would request their licenses, their business licenses in Rio. We have here an Android emulator, and we can see here we have an icon with Orquestra BPMS app. Of course, we could start this business license request process through this app, but this would not work for business owners in Rio, because you can't tell him, oh, download the BPMS app, start a process, receive tasks. The business owners, the citizen doesn't know these concepts, so we can't tell him to do this. So now we're going to show how to the proposed solution here, which is to go and generate process apps. So we have here a few of these apps already built. We'll create a new one. So here we define the title of this app, the version, and the description. Let me copy this. Okay, so this information is going to be used afterwards when we have the app itself built, because this is going to be seen in the App Store. There's also app information or help, which is information we can add so the user knows what exactly does this app do and where or who to call for support. Okay, then there's an internal identifier of the app, and here's a list of processes we currently have deployed here in this instance, and we can choose. Right now we'll choose business license request, but we could choose more processes to be available here. And then we'll load the icon for the app. Let's add this Rio image here. Save it. Okay. Okay, now here's the building blocks of our mobile app. This will let us define what features the app that will generate will have. So we could, for instance, allow the user to install to start new process instances anonymously. This in the request. We could track process instances via a locator code. we'll mark here the option to request new processes while being logged in the system. My tasks, because he'll receive tasks back. He'll be able also to track his process instances, and we also want to be able to allow the user to sign up to the system. So let's click Add here. Okay, now that the app is built, I don't know if people in the back can see the buttons on the bottom. We have the option to preview the mobile app generated by the system. We can download its source code, and we can compile for iOS and Android. After we compile, we'll be able to download the app. So let's click on compile for Android. And what's happening now, it's Orquestra is building the app source code, packaging, and sending it to the compilation server, and waiting for the compilation to be returned. Once the compilation is okay, we have the option to download the iOS app and the APK file. Let's click here to download the APK file. Okay, let's wait for the download to begin. There it is. Let's also download the source code for this mobile app. It's a zip file. So the APK file that we have just downloaded is a binary file. This is the final file that we'll send to Google Play, and if you download the IPA file, we can send it to the App Store. Once we have the APK file, we can run it on an Android emulator. Let's install it. Okay, we have the emulator running here. Let's click on the apps. And here's the license app. As you can see, it has generated the icon for the Android format. Let's click on the license app and see what it looks like. So you can see that having the name of the app and the logo makes it a direct connection for the citizen to see, oh, this is a real app. There's a few features underneath here in the screen. We can, the user can sign up, create a new user account. It has this info screen where we can put useful information for when he's using the app, and he can log in. Let's log in. Okay, so we made this app as simple as possible. When we enter the app, we can see that there's a tracking module, a tracking feature, where we can see that there was an instance of this process that we have started before, but we also have the option to request a new business license. So there is CRYO City Hall business license, some information about the process. And we can click here and see what it looks like to start the business license process. So this is an HTML5 screen. It's using responsive design, so we can keep the same visual information that we had in the desktop version, but here is adapted to this screen size and resolution. And the same features we saw on the desktop version, we have also here in the mobile app. So here we can start a new process, and let's go back to tracking and see we can see that the status of this previous request is still being fulfilled. And here we can have more information, and the complete information about the request we have done before, and electronic form, messages, and attachments. So this is one of the apps that was generated. There's another app here in the home screen. It's called Complaint app. And when we started, we can see the icons here on the bottom, on the navigation bar, are different. There's also a tracking feature. There's the info, and there's the new request for complaint. So these apps were generated by Orquestra, and we set different features for each one of them. Here's also a form to make complaints in the city of Rio. Okay, so all of this was done without we having to develop or learn the Orquestra's APIs. This is all generated automatically. And one of the interesting features is there are lots of different screen sizes for smartphones. And one of the issues people have is generating different icons for different devices. So here we have an example. These are all icons generated automatically by Orquestra, each one for different iPhone 4, iPhone 5, iPhone 6. It was generated all automatically. We can extract it to a folder here in the so you can see different resolutions, different sizes. It was all generated based on the logo we set before. We uploaded to Orquestra. And everything was done here inside this module. So this allows our customers to generate apps that allow their customers and the citizens, business owners, to start process apps and be a starting point for these customers who want to generate process apps, but they don't have the mobile teams, mobile developers. And so this is a starting point for them. So
I'd like to highlight some things that I think it's important. This, I don't know any of you have the opportunity to try to send one of these files to Google Play or Apple Store. It's a real nightmare. But this is something that we couldn't automate. It was a dream, like, I want to click a button and put at Apple Store. But with these files, this APK file, for example, you have together all the instructions to take this file and send to the store, which you cannot automate today because of Google policies or Apple policies. But this is the only job you have to do, take this file and send to them. Another thing I'd like to highlight to you is I liked very much the presentation of the Red Hat guys in the morning because I found several similarities. And this too is being used by our customers as a real advanced prototype. So I talked earlier, like you could develop your own app using the BPMS API, for example, if you have technical skills for that. But if you don't have this generated app, it's a good starting point. So you can very fast deploy this app and publish to your customers and take feedback for them. If something starts to scale, you can maybe develop your own app, totally 100% customized. So this is a good starting point. And as I said during the Ignite presentation, today we are using the Adobe PhoneGap technology, which is a technology that enables you to deploy HTML and hybrid apps. But the working behind really could be used to any kind of language or platform to deliver this. We're already working with Microsoft in Brazil with the Xamarin, which is a more native approach to deploying apps. And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.